This is Critical Commentary with Maurice Williams. Today we're going to cover welfare and crime. Blacks, Hispanics, and whites can't read. Why you think I started a podcast? It's a fucking racist thing with you niggas, and that's why I'm coming at you niggas next. They love to talk about black violence. Have you heard of white violence? White people commit violent crime at 3 times the rate of Asians. When is Nick Fuentes going to talk about white violence? Everybody's arguing about there are 2 genders. I sat next to her hermaphrodite in math class. Am I allowed to talk about the Jews? If she wanted, we could do it in the morning. Yawning, letting my eyes stretch, baby, I ain't a novice. I've been a dog, she FaceTime, but I never call. So it's November, and the food stamp shortage is now in effect. So millions of Americans are worried about whether they'll have enough money to eat moving forward this month. And I wanted to pull up some of the stats on the amount of people using welfare in the various congressional districts, the various states in America. As you can see from looking at this first graph, there's a sizable amount of people in Oregon. Almost 20 to 25% of the people in the whole state of Oregon use welfare. Also, a lot of people like to talk about the racial aspect. If you look in the South, there's a decent bit of welfare. That's where a higher percentage of blacks live in America. But you will also see in this area, Appalachia, that I often bring up, and that's mostly white people. There's also a fair bit of welfare and food stamps. Is about 20% in Appalachia, closer to 25% on average in the South where the blacks are living. Also, there's some up north, but not as much up north, and there's hardly any in the west, the central west of America. So I'm actually going to go into some of the actual congressional districts specifically. So this map that I found shows it breaks this down welfare based upon the politician who won in that area, the congressional district. So in New York, which a lot of people are familiar with AOC and Hakeem Jeffries, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez's district, about 27% of the people are on food stamps. That's high. That's way over the national average. Also in New York, Hakeem Jeffries, who is also a prominent politician, it's even higher than AOC's district. 30% of his district is on welfare. So both of those politicians have a lot of people in their district on welfare. To get outside of just the Democrats are up north, if you check somewhere like Florida, I don't know her, but she represents the Republican. Sorry, sir. He represents the Republican Party. About 20% of his constituents are on food stamps. So again, 20 is also higher than the national average, and it's not as high though as the Democratic areas where AOC and Hakeem Jeffries are. I'm familiar with Louisiana because I live in Louisiana, and later in the show we'll actually break this down by cities and counties as well to get even more specific. But there's gotta pull this up. I gotta put it up a good bit. About 17% of the people in where I live, the Orleans parish, are on welfare. So that's still higher than the national average, but it's actually smaller than the Republican place where. In Florida, and much less than New York. There are a couple more. As you guys can see, this map is showing you the red is where it's a high amount of welfare. The orange is a medium amount, and then the white is like hardly any. This is also a Republican place in Texas. About 20% of the people on food stamps. So if you can see, there is somewhat of a difference with versus the Republicans and the Democrats so far. Now, I'll take 1 second before we move on to the cities and show West Virginia, 15%, also above the national average. Another West Virginia congressional district. Both of these representatives, Riley Moore and Carol Miller, are Republicans. They're at about 20%. And I'll show one more just to be fair to everybody. Kentucky, 23%. Again, this is Harold Rogers, Republican. So the reason that I wanted to point this out to you guys is a lot of people are saying, well, the Democrats use welfare, the Republicans don't. If I would have looked through all of these on the map, I think you guys would see that it's kind of close to 50-50 in terms of like which places use welfare and which don't based upon Republicans and Democrats. Though I do notice, and maybe we'll see more when I go into the cities, there's slightly more welfare being utilized in the cities, but it's not because it's Democrats versus Republicans. My belief is that it's probably because these cities have large amounts of people. So instead of having a small group of people, they have lots of people on Section 8, not just welfare, but lots of people getting public housing. So just because of the sheer number of people, and Section 8 typically has even less money than people who are just on food stamps. So just for that fact, they have poorer people in the cities. So again, this may be something that we may discuss when we get on the topic of crime. I wanted to go into the actual cities because I wanted to give a racial breakdown. So we'll start in my hometown because I'm aware of it. And at first, guys, when I looked at this at home, I couldn't find my parish. I was a little upset. But I hope here we go. I found it quicker for you guys. So in Orleans Parish, which it's more than New Orleans, but New Orleans is the city that most people in the nation will know. About 1/5 of the people are on food stamps. So again, that's a little bit higher than the national average. I think the national average is closer to 1 in 8 people use food stamps. So maybe even 1 in 10 people use food stamps. So mostly it's children, because a lot of times the people needing this economic relief and help, it's the children of unmarried women. So sometimes the Republicans say that marriage would help the economics in the family. This may be true because the statistics that I'm about to show you are showing that it's children mostly who are not going to be receiving food because of the food stamp shortage. It will be adults, but it's affecting children more so, because as this says, of the 22% of people using the food stamps, 49 are children. In Orleans Parish, 3% are white and 32% are black. So on average, nationally, the blacks is about 25% of the blacks people use welfare. And this is saying 32 for New Orleans, or the Orleans Parish. So it's a little higher than the national average, but close. Again, keep in mind that the national average for whites using welfare and food stamps is much higher than 3%, though. I'm going to talk about that a little later. But to go outside of New Orleans, which is somewhat a major American city, I wanted to check on Appalachia. Guys, you know I talk about Appalachia a lot. So we're going to look at Webster County, West Virginia. Talk about West Virginia a lot as well, guys. So 30% of the people in West Virginia are on, not West Virginia, but this county are on food stamps. That's obviously high. That's higher than it is even in New Orleans. Of that percentage, 51 are children. So again, like New Orleans, a lot of children. But the racial breakdown of the people using the food stamps, 29% are white, none are black, right? So there are no black. I always make the joke. There aren't many black people in West Virginia. In this specific county, none of the blacks are on welfare. All of the welfare is white people. Okay, there are a few. We'll get out of West Virginia and go to Kentucky because I've discussed Appalachia as a whole. So we'll just check 2 counties in Kentucky. This one is Martin County. 35% of the people are on food stamps. So that's even higher than it was in West Virginia. Again, 50% children. So I think that's just a theme that may be across all the cities. But again, the black breakdown is 30% of the whites are using food stamps. 36% of the whites in Martin County are using food stamps, whereas 10% of the blacks are. So as you can see, guys, when I'm talking about Appalachia, I'm not just bringing it up because it's rural America and it's different from the urban cities, but I'm just trying to highlight to you guys that the face of welfare, when we say it's a black thing, that is more so because in the inner cities, it's black people that we are seeing using welfare. But if we were to look at the whole picture and go county by county, we would see that it's multicultural, the face of the people using food stamps. And is there another one that I want to check? I'll just it stopped on Floyd. Okay, this Floyd County, this is also Kentucky. 30% of the people on welfare again. So I can't say for all of Appalachia that it's 30% of the people in Appalachia on welfare. But in Appalachia, as you guys can see, the rate of people on welfare is high. It's 30%. 50% children, again. 30% white, 8% black. So as you guys can see, it's city after city where in a different demographic in America, we don't see the situation that we see in major cities like New Orleans, where it's 30% blacks using food stamps, 3% whites, so hardly any. But instead, it's the whites that are on food stamps and not so much the blacks. So that's just something for people to keep in mind as we discuss race in America, as we discuss welfare in America, and possibly crime. We'll get to that in a second. The larger overview is that if you were to just look at this in general, and this is why oftentimes I say, oh, Nick Fuentes isn't all wrong. Emily Saves America isn't all wrong. The reason I say that, guys, if you look at this last map, I looked at individual cities, but if you just take a step back and just look at the colors in this map, you will see the green is where there's hardly any welfare. So there's some white, some large, predominantly white areas where it's green. Of course, Asians is be predominantly green. And then you kind of see diversity of the places where white people live because there's some yellow, but then there's also Appalachia gang red. But what I will say about African Americans is they're only 13% of the population, not just in the South, but other places like Chicago, California, etc. Where the African Americans live, it is red, right? So red meaning that it has a higher percentage of welfare users than the other places. I just wanted to go through the facts with people so they don't take it the wrong way and say, oh, well, if they're blacks, there's welfare, but if it's whites, there's not. That's not true. We just pointed out that there are many cities with white welfare. It's just overall, whites don't use as much, don't use welfare at the same percentage as blacks. Play a clip from you guys from yours truly, your favorite, Emily Saves America, volumes up. And I have a few clips this episode for you guys. Something happened over the weekend with one of the influencers. She kind of went viral from a video she posted on Halloween, but let's see what Emily has to say.
Earth Cafe, Melrose yesterday, broad daylight, 5 black men with ski masks and a gun. Yes, the usual suspects, guys, that it is every time. Go cry about it. Yeah, robbed I believe a kid for his Rolex, and I'm just like, here's my thing. I voted for Nathan Hochman because I was told that crime was going to go down in this city. Crime has not gone down at all. If you are able to rob someone at Earth Cafe in broad daylight, while there's thousands of people around, then no, sorry, crime has not gone down. But they're coming here, these out-of-city people are coming here, and they're doing this because they know they can get away with it. This is not what we voted for. We voted to stop this stuff, and it's continuing to happen. It's continuing to happen. If I voted for this person, I want to know why. Why does this keep happening?
Okay, guys, again, I don't support crime. I think that in liberal cities, they're too lenient on crime. I think violent criminals should not get chance after chance. There's been tons of reports on X of people committing violent crimes, but they've been arrested 10, 8, 13 times. The liberal judges and the people that are being voted in these major American cities need to reevaluate how they punish criminals. Not necessarily people using drugs, not necessarily petty theft, though those are problems, especially petty theft. But when it's something violent, like Emily's talking about an armed robbery, regardless of race, these people need to be sentenced to severe punishments to deter them from committing these crimes. What I didn't like about what Emily said, though, is she said the usual suspect. So all of these little dog whistles and things that the Republicans and specifically the white conservatives are saying, things like the usual suspect, we was kings, etc., etc. It's pissing me off because it's kind of insinuating that blacks commit crime, blacks commit violent crime, and that is no other races. So what I would just like people to consider is that about 6% of blacks commit crime, about 3% of whites commit crime. So if we're going to judge all the blacks by the 3%, so we should judge all whites by the 3% of whites committing crime. Specifically, I'll even talk about the statistics of murder. About 18th hundredth of a percent. So that's like 0.018% of blacks commit murder, whereas like 0.0025, I think that would be 25 ten thousandths of 25 ten thousandths whites commit murder, and not crime, but again murder for blacks too. 18 thousandths of a percent of blacks commit murder. So as you can see, this is a small number. For blacks it's 0.018, and then for whites it's 0.0025. And I don't like when people discuss blacks and, use that small percentage of blacks to represent blacks, because I don't think people use that small percentage of whites to discuss white culture. Sorry for stumbling over the percents, guys. That's a number that we don't usually talk about, so I didn't have it right off my head. But yeah, I just think that it's an issue to describe the it's an issue to describe the majority by the minority. And also another clip we saw from Emily, she said we don't want to discuss the statistics. Well, let's talk about the statistics again of child pornography per capita, of course. you'll have about 50% of the population is white, but about 80% of the child pornography arrests are white, whereas 14 to 15% of the population is black, and about 5% of the child pornography arrests are black. So again, if we are gonna describe the majority by the minority, then I guess we would say that white people are the face of child pornography. I don't know if white America would appreciate that. This is the clip. Before even seeing the clip, guys, Lilly's a white girl who got famous for saying nigga. She didn't even say nigger at first. She said nigga. But I guess she's got to brand herself all the way racist now because she was basically banned from the mainstream and from the left for, you know, being white and saying nigga. So we'll just watch this clip, and she's in blackface. So again, historically, white people would dress up in blackface and make fun of black people. Similar to how the Wayans brothers did with white chicks. But the reason it's a problem in America is because people don't generally believe that whites are stupid. So it's taken as a joke, but it's not seen as like a belief that all whites are like this. So I guess in America, we have a problem of when people make fun of black people, the assumption is they're talking about all blacks. So because of this actual, it was a live that Lilly did. Because of this live, she got in hot water again because people said she's talking about blacks as though we all fit the stereotype, but I'll let you guys see the clip. So you can decide for yourself, you know, is Lilly going too far or is this all just a joke?
Black women think they face, it's of their own fucking doing. Running around in nails like this, running around in earrings like this, like you people fight every day. You people fight every day. Could you choose any outfit and get up that's like less conducive to fighting? Seriously. They wear wigs that can be pulled out. They put braids in their hair that could rip the rest of their hair out. And then they complain about having alopecia. No, it's self-induced alopecia. That's like a cutter. That's like one of those fucking losers who cut themselves. That's like them having a scar and being like, I can't believe I have scars. Like, what? Black women, you tear your hair out by the roots. You put every sort of chemical on your hair to straighten it out, despite being so proud of being black. And then you wonder why you have alopecia. And then you guys fight all the time. And yet you wear massive hoop earrings. You wear weaves in your hair. You wear fake eyelashes. You wear fake nails. All of these things are not conducive to fighting, okay? So let me give you advice. Let me turn this racist stream around into something positive. Okay, black women, listen up. Listen up. A black woman is speaking. When you are fighting, when you are going to bat, okay? Before you wake up in the morning, get out of bed and you have to think like a fighter. You have to put yourself in the mindset of not, oh, it's just easy breezy and I might pick up a fight or a felony later on. No, that is the wrong mindset to have. The correct mindset to have is that you wake up every day knowing that every day is a fight. Every day is a potential crash out. Every day is a potential chance to chimp out. With that in mind, so let me adjust my cap for the billionth time. With that in mind, you must wake up with that mindset, okay? Like white girls have to manifest things, you have to manifest too. You have to manifest yourself into the ultimate super warrior, okay?
Okay, guys, that was boring me. It was putting me to sleep, honestly. So basically what you have between Lilly Gaddis and Emily Saves America is you have two white bimbos, basically. So they're trying to make points. One is trying to point to the fact that she thinks black people fight. She thinks that they get all dressed up and have long nails and they pull each other weaves, a whole bunch of ignorant nonsense that doesn't fit a majority of black women. Black women, I see you. We love you. She doesn't have much intelligence, so she's not able to understand the complexity to the black culture. So she's just pointing out dumb things that she sees about blacks. And it's kind of the same thing with Emily Wilson, who just points to welfare and crime to discuss all of the things, to not discuss all of the good things that blacks do in terms of entrepreneurship, schooling, athletics, et cetera, being essential workers, being frontline workers. Blacks are just like whites. We're all out here doing our best, trying to survive, doing what we can to be positive role models for our children and to be productive members of society. But I will say that the difference between these two bimbos and Nick Fuentes is I don't agree with Nick. I've never told you guys he was, well, I have said he's low IQ and I'm making jokes, but honestly, I can tell that he has a high cognitive function. So I don't blame these two for the things they say. Maybe they don't know better. I blame Nick because he definitely knows better. So So I just think that's something to keep in mind. When you have low IQ whites, you get what Emily Wilson and Lilly Gaddis are doing. When you have a more high IQ racist white, you get the type of racism that Nick gives, which he puts out. I think some of his jokes, though, are deplorable. Sometimes he honestly is funny, guys. Lilly, as you can see, was not funny at all. Sorry, Lilly. I give you a D for effort. Oh, there's actually, I got you guys. One more clip of her. Then we'll go on to the comments.
Not receiving the reparations that they think they deserve.
I heard reparations. I'm going to go backwards, see what this dumb bitch talking about.
What's up, folks? Welcome back to the show. So last night was Halloween, as many people know, and I decided to dress up like everyone else does. You know, people are out there dressed like Satan and witches, and they're dressed like every horrible thing under the sun. Well, I decided to dress up as something, the most horrifying thing I could think of, which is the black woman, which is a person who is angry and fed up that their EBT card has been declined, that their race card is no longer working in this new climate, and that they're not receiving the reparations that they think they deserve, despite the fact that they did not build this country, contrary to what they say all the time. And they are certainly not improving the country. They are actually doing everything in their power to destroy the country. So I made this stream last night, a live stream, and a few people watched it. And now people are quite angry. Several allegations are being alleged against me. Why is she doing this? Is she just a shock jock, just an agent provocateur? Or is she a grifter? Or is she Jewish? Or is this a federal asset here to seed division amongst people? So I want to put some of those accusations to bed. I want to explain the method behind the madness and perhaps what my long-term goals are. Because unlike an agent provocateur who just wants to cause chaos, I actually want to see my country improved. Okay, and you might say, well, how is doing blackface on a stream, how is that improving the country? Well, let me explain to you how. The country has been slowly dissolving into destruction. It's slowly been destroyed over time. We're frogs in boiling water. That's what's been going on in this country. We've slowly had our rights stripped away. We've slowly lost sovereignty of our country, and now shadowy forces that are now becoming more identifiable and clear to the general populace have destroyed our country. They've shipped in immigrants. They've shipped in all sorts of cultures that clash with our cultures and our religions. And we've lost our national identity, and we've lost our racial identity as well. They've been pushing miscegenation on us. They've been pushing this idea that we should be guilty for the reason, and it's white people that are to blame for the, the downfall and destruction of non-white people. Of course, there's no accountability in that camp. It's just our fault as well. So I've been looking back and I've been seeing my country get progressively worse. And I've noticed it seems to have been a national uptick in the destruction and chaos in the last 5 years. I've seen my country become destroyed at an accelerated pace. I think we can all tell. I think it was kicked off with COVID when we were collectively stripped of our rights. And it's just continued to escalate ever since. So what I want my country to be great again, okay? That's why Trump won in 2016, and that's why he's our president now, because he ran on this slogan of making America great again. I think he has failed in a lot of ways, because when a politician gets up into a position of political power, they quickly are presented with the real people who run our country, and they quickly learn that there is no sovereignty and there's no power in the political offices that they hold, despite being elected there on certain promises that they gave the voter, and the voter elects them into those positions. I want that to change. I want our sovereignty back. I want our racial identity back, and I want my homogenous society back. I want a country to live in that's going to be a good, thriving place for my children to grow up in. I want a place where families can feel safe to raise children. I want a place where everyone, despite how poor you are, despite how rich you are, can live in peace and can live in nice, prosperous communities. I want to live in a country that's respected again, and I want to live in a country that is ours again. And that's what I mean when I say I want America to be great again. And the way we achieve that is that we start actually putting America and Americans first. First of all, we have to start by identifying who the American people are. This country was founded on white Christian people and on white Christian values. And that is who I care about. And that is what our politicians should care about. They should care about those people. They should pander to those people. And they should serve those people. They should not be serving the interest of foreign countries and of foreign people. And they should not be encouraging the mass migration of foreign people into our.
Okay, guys, so this is kind of becoming a recurring theme with me. I did say she was a dumb bimbo. A longer clip. She said a few things that make some sense. She still said a whole lot of bullshit. I'll actually start with some of the things that make some sense. First, had a little loss for. Okay, she said that America should be America first. I agree with that, and she's kind of saying that some of the foreign influences, whether it's Qatar, Israel, etc., should not be influencing our government so much. So I agree with that, and then I also agree with the fact that she wants. I believe in family. I believe in strong families, and she wants people to feel safe. I think most Americans agree with that. The big issue I have with her and people like her is that I guess we disagree about how to achieve that. She was trying to imply, it seems to me, that a diverse group of people, which is non-homogenous, cannot have peace. I don't agree with that, as I have consistently reported on West Virginia and rural America, saying that there's violence there, and those places are not completely homogenous, but the violence, welfare, etc. is happening by whites, against whites. Also, she made comments about Christianity, which I just found hilarious. She says that Christianity is a Western religion, and she's trying to say it's a white thing. But then Jewish people are from the Middle East, East Africa, etc. So the Semitic people are from a place that is now would be considered brown people. So yes, Europeans have carried on Christianity, and I do believe that Catholicism, the Pope, Italy, etc., America are nations that promote Christianity. So I do believe that Europeans have had a strong influence on Christianity and have spread it, but I don't understand how people who are white can speak about Christianity as if the people in the Bible and the Semites aren't from a place where they're black and brown. Well, yes, black too, because if you really look into the Bible, you'll see that a lot of the things are also talk about Egypt and Ethiopia, where the people are black. And I go into Egyptians being black later. Not all of the Egyptians are black, but where Egypt started, the people were black. So again, I disagree with her on the fact that she's not trying to have an America that's diverse, and she's not trying to have an America that encompasses everyone, which is actually American ideals, right? The founders say we were built by immigrants. Americans have said that that is our strength, and they have said that they welcome immigrants because these white people she are talking about were immigrants themselves. So the ideas of America is not so much a racial identity, but it's a belief in democracy, a belief in treating everyone equal rights, a belief in treating people fair, etc., etc. So I just think this is something that, as we've already seen in America, it can be had by people of different faiths. Because she even brought up religion. She said she wants a certain religion, and it's like, no, you can have people of various religions or no religion, show others respect, be kind, be loving, etc. So why I'm okay with and why I think we should have more dialogue is if Lily's being sincere, which she probably is, right? Because she's cussing and saying everything else, so she's probably being sincere. If she's being sincere, we can have what you want. You just should allow other people to be a part of it. And this episode, we haven't gone into some of the things she said, but similar to Nick, she has brought up things about blacks committing crime. She has brought up things about blacks and Hispanics committing violent crime, rapes, etc. I don't think that, again, it's wrong for people who are white to, and I'll talk about one more point before we finish. I don't think it's wrong for white people to bring up problems in other communities, because this is the point I was about to make, guys. She said that white people are picked on in America. I see that. Everybody pretends that they don't see that, but it's true. Like, not just white people, but white conservatives. If you're a white Christian, if you're a Republican, if you want the traditional nuclear family, if you want the patriarchy, people kind of talk down upon you and they say, oh, you don't want this for women. That's not true. If you would talk to Republicans, you would find out, not just Republicans, but some of the conservative Christians, you would find out that no, that's not what they're saying. I think that people on the left are too quick to jump at Republicans and stereotype them the way they don't want the Republicans to stereotype gays, blacks, etc. So I think that the things that Lilly wants are fair, and I think that the other side is just too quick to demonize them. So yeah, I will continue covering people like Lilly Gaddis, Nick Fuentes, etc. But also we'll throw in some Democrats, guys, because I feel like I've been giving you guys my take on what I think about conservatives, but I haven't given you guys my take on liberals and Democrats. So later in the week we'll cover them as well, and we're about to go to some comments for you guys. The comments are to they're all Nick again. They're all Nick. Nick Fuentes is very suspicious of Erica Kirk is the first comment. What we have here is an average. This is from Daniel Johnson 2740. What we have here is an average IQ individual attempting to critique a very high IQ individual. Okay, so Nick, I guess they're calling me low IQ or average IQ. First off, there's nothing wrong with being average IQ. I do think my IQ may be higher than average, but being average IQ is totally fine. I will say that I think Nick has a higher IQ than me. I don't have a problem saying that. I think I've said this earlier in the episode. I think Nick is a smart person. I just think he's using his smarts for evil. So the dig you're trying to make at me, I don't take it as a dig. If Nick is smarter than me, he's smarter than me. I still can critique what I see from him. Your IQ is just refers to your ability to do math, your ability to critical think. You don't have to be the most intelligent person or have the highest IQ to have an opinion, and they share your opinion. And people who don't have the highest IQ are right sometimes, and sometimes they're wrong. And sometimes people with high IQs are right, and sometimes they're wrong. So everybody should be allowed to discuss their views and share, because again, you never know who's right or wrong in a situation. We all need to talk and listen to each other more. Nick Fuentes shares his real views on race. This is from Lisa Rubin 6405. Get along. All Americans were under a Democratic and Republican psyop, pinning us against each other. Freedom of speech, lines not to cross. My black friends, we are family, so let's get along. I love you, Lisa. Definitely, if you have not subscribed, subscribe. I think you would like the vibe this show is on and what we're trying to promote and get across. America's past is bad. I agree. Now that's wonderful. I couldn't have said it better. The past across the board, slavery is not something that just white people did. Africans were enslaving Africans, Asians were enslaving Asians, Europeans were enslaving Europeans. The Slavs is where the word slave comes from. We have to acknowledge history because we don't want it to repeat itself, but at some point we got to move forward, right? So I agree with what she's saying. The past is bad. We know that. Let's move forward together, guys, as one people, as one humanity. I'll get 2 more comments for you guys. Somebody commented 4 times. I'm not gonna read all those comments, but it's to Nick Fuentes, dear black people. This is Love Seeker 81392. Pretty agnostic. Oh, this may be a long one. I'll read some of it. Thank you for your comment, Love Seeker 81392. Pretty antagonistic, kind of proving his point in your own video. I guess that's why you don't get many views and have such a small audience in a bubble. We can go back and forth saying what about and what about. So I'll respond to all of this. The show just started. I think we're up to a great start. We're trying to get the subscribers up, guys. So if you like the content, please subscribe. Like, dislike, feel however you feel, guys. I mostly appreciate the comments. I like the back and forth. I like learning from you guys. I learned about Erica Kirk. I'm learning stuff about Nick from the Groypers, which, you would think I would be arguing with them, but no, like, they've told me many things that were true, and I looked into them, and I will continue looking into things. So I'm not trying to be antagonistic. Nick was talking negative about black people. I had to check him about the bullshit because the shit just wasn't. It was factually true, but it was pushing a false narrative. Because this is a show, I don't have time to read all of this, but I will read this on my own time. And I don't know if your socials are Love Seeker, etc., but if you reach out to us at Critical Commentary TV on social, you can reach out to me at Maurice Williams CCTV. Send me a tweet, send me a comment on TikTok. I would definitely have a conversation with you because it seems like you're passionate and you had a lot to say, and I'm definitely going to check it out. One more comment. So again, the Nick, I guess over the weekend, guys, the Groypers, you guys are active. A lot of people have been checking out the Nick videos. Didn't do one today, did one on Lilly Gaddis, but we probably will do some more stuff on Nick. And Nick did something with Tucker lately, Tucker Carlson, so I'll probably do some on Tucker as well because he's in a little hot water for interviewing Nick. People are upset about that. Nick Fuentes tells Tucker Carlson what he told Trump at infamous Mar-a-Lago meeting. Okay, bro, nobody flip-flops more and lies more than Trump. Get the fuck. Trump talks a lot, guys. I talk a lot. I tell the producer all the time. I come prepared for the show, but then I also don't know what I'm gonna say because I'm talking to you guys from the heart. And sometimes my opinions change. I don't want to say Trump flip flops just because I feel like he said things and he got backlash and he doubled down, right? So I do think Trump says what he feels, and I think he gives it to you straight. I think he tells you what he feels, right or wrong. I've seen him do things other politicians don't do. I'll say this to kind of close up the show, guys. He talked to he didn't just reach out to black votes for black just to get the black votes. I saw him sit down at like town halls of all blacks. I seen him sit down with black reporters, and he took tough questions. And when he took those questions, he didn't pander to black people, right? He would say like, oh, I think you guys do this well, or I think you guys don't get credit for this. He talked about slavery. He talked about the essential workers. But then when it got on crime, when it got on welfare, he said what he thought in a room full of blacks. So, I mean, at the end of the day, a lot of people don't like him, but you got to respect a person who got in, was willing to stand in that fire and say what he believed. And if you call him a flip flopper, that would mean, oh, when he got in front of the black reporters, he was different. But it was like, no, he's the same person. Now, what I will say is that a lot of people have been talking about America first, draining the swamps. Lilly mentioned that earlier, guys, in the episode. Yes, he's been a politician for 12 years. Connections to Qatar now, Saudi Arabia, Israel, etc., etc. If you're in that world, you drain the swamp, but then you become the swamp. So in terms of him flip-flopping on that, I don't know as much of it as flip-flopping as just he has a different group of friends and a different not network, but a different network of people that he's networking with. So I think that what we see from him is just because he's in a different place. So yeah, I don't think he's a flip-flopper. Again, guys, if you like this episode, hit that like. Also subscribe. Share it with friends if you guys think there are other people who would be interested in these topics. As you guys see, I check the comments, or we check social as well. I want to talk to more people. I want to learn things. So please continue to reach out to us, guys, and I'll see you tomorrow. If you like this video, please smash the like button, comment, and subscribe. New shows airing Monday through Thursday.